Are you dealing with Achilles tendon pain? Here are 3 tips to get the most out of your rehab. Load it. When we look at a lot of Achilles tendon rehab programs, they go with the traditional 3 sets of 10 reps, and there's nothing wrong with this necessarily. The issue is that when we look at these rehab protocols in the research, there are actually 3 sets of 15 reps performed with a straight knee and a bent knee performed twice per day. And 30 reps per day is a lot less than 180 reps per day, so there's a good chance if we're just doing the traditional 3 sets of 10 reps that we're likely underloading the Achilles tendon, which is probably one reason why some people don't have a good outcome. Now, we might not need to do 180 reps to have a good outcome. We see in the research that performing as many as possible, which in that research article was about 85 to 120 heel raises, produced a similar outcome. But nevertheless, we want to make sure that we're loading the Achilles tendon appropriately and gradually increasing the load on it. And along these same lines, these rehab programs are a minimum of 12 weeks, so be patient. It takes some time for the tendon to adapt to those loads. Slow it down. When performing heel raises, remember that it's not a race, although we all want to get done with our exercises as soon as we possibly can. The reason why this is important is that the tendon needs to be able to sense the load. If we're performing our heel raises too quickly, so we're just going up, down, up, down, up, down, then the tendon will have a limited response to those loads. And this is potentially one of the reasons why the tendon doesn't adapt very well to running, is because the time that it's actually loaded is so short. The general recommendation for how long we should load the heel raise is 3 seconds for each contraction. So that would be a 3-second contraction up, which would be the concentric muscle contraction, and then 3 seconds back down to the ground, which would be the eccentric muscle contraction. These can also be performed on a step or a ledge, and this will allow the ankle to go into more ankle dorsiflexion, allowing you to load the ankle through a full range of motion. But if we're dealing with an insertional tendinopathy, which means that the pain is closer to the heel versus a mid portion where it's kind of in the middle, then we might not want to load into the end range of dorsiflexion. So for an insertional tendinopathy, we might start by just loading on flat surface, so that way we're not going into so much dorsiflexion, and then progress from there. And finally, let's talk about the soleus. The calf consists of 3 muscles. We have the gastrocnemius, the soleus, and then the plantaris muscle. And it appears that a large portion of the strength deficits that we see in those with Achilles tendinopathy occur because of the soleus muscle, which would make sense because the structural changes that we see in chronic Achilles tendinopathy occur on the deep side of the Achilles tendon, which would be attributed to the soleus fibers. So if we are looking at specifically targeting the soleus muscle, then we want to load with more knee flexion. This can be performed with a modified elevated split squat. The goal is to lift the body up, moving only through the ankle and not through the knee. Because the soleus doesn't cross the knee joint, this helps to isolate the load to the soleus muscle. Additionally, a single leg bent knee heel raise is another option. Sometimes this can be a little bit challenging to keep the knee bent. As we lift the heel up, we have the tendency to extend the knee, so just make sure that you're locking the knee in a flexed position throughout the movement as you lift the heel up and you lift your body up towards the ceiling. So those are my 3 tips for Achilles tendon rehab. Hopefully they're helpful. If they were, go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up. If you want to see more videos on Achilles tendinopathy, I'll put some videos over here. If you want to subscribe to the channel, click the button over here. I'll see you in the next video.